What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Hey, it is Monday. It is the start of another week, and we are now 1 month away, roughly, from the NFL draft. You're going to get more and more people trying to break down this player, that player, and everything in between. Who's Detroit going to take? Who are they going to trade for? Are they going to trade forward? Are they going to trade back? Whatever it is, we're going to find it all out in the next few weeks. And you know what? We're going to probably have a little fun with it. Yes, some of you are going to ask if we're going to do another mock draft. Give it about a week or so, and we'll do mock draft 3.0 or whatever. But on the way back from our trip to the UP yesterday, I did look at this, found out who Mel Kiper is now projecting to the Lions, tried to do some personality evaluations, listen to the gentleman talk for a bit of time, try to get enough insights into how they form the word sentences, etc., to have a pretty good take on them, who they are, and we'll talk about that all during the during the main topic of the day. All right, before we get into the main topic of the day, the 5 headlines now. By the way, there are only 4 headlines today. Didn't really have a good 5th one, so I didn't want to force it. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making that march towards 13,500 subs, and we are roughly, I don't know, man, let's see, we're 35 subs away from it. So if you can help out with that, that'd be great, and thankful for me for your efforts. Also, if you have half second of time, it is free of charge. Doesn't cost you a dang dime. Reach on down, hit that thumbs up button, that like button, hit all the buttons. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. One other thing before we get the show rocking and a rolling and a going, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the continental United States, let alone the great state of Michigan, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. Let's see if I can use over 30 years of experience to help you out, save you some time, save you some hassle, more importantly, save you some money. Make sure the lender isn't overcharging you. Make sure the title company isn't adding in some extra unnecessary charges. Whatever it is, watch your back, and you know what? I enjoy doing all that. So give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. All right, with all that stuff out of the way, let's get into now the first segment of the show. And as you probably know, it is 5 headlines now. All right, 4 headlines now, even though we do call it 5 because we only have 4 for you today. Breaking down all the changes at the current state of the Detroit Lions cornerback room, story by Ryan Love of Lions Wire. You know, we've all talked about in the offseason, one of the biggest areas of concern probably for the Lions was the cornerback room. That just, we all get it. Carlton Davis left. You bring in DJ Reed. You know, some of the depth was in question for the Lions secondary. But while some guys have left, other guys had come in. It's really going to come down to who you believe in the evaluations. Let's talk about the departures first. Carlton Davis, as we mentioned, the third, signed a 3-year, $54 million contract to the New England Patriots. Ife Melifonwu signed a 1-year, only $3 million with the Miami Dolphins. A lot of Lions fans wanted me back. I was amongst them, but I probably understand, probably like most of you guys, the biggest issue with Ife was he's just not available enough. You think about last year, even though he got on the field, he missed, 85% of the season before he was available. And then prior seasons, he missed half the season, et cetera, et cetera. He just couldn't stay healthy. And unfortunately, I think that's why the team let him walk. Kendall Vildor, I would not have been sad if the Lions brought him back. I get he's kind of the villain in Detroit Lions history at this point because of the bounce off the face shield, interception that should have been, that wasn't, ended up being a completion in the NFC title game, et cetera, et cetera. He did sign a 1-year deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, with that all being said, for the people taking off. How about those who came on in? DJ Reed, as we stated, signed a 3-year, $48 million contract. Avion Maddox signed an undisclosed contract. Details aren't out yet, but he has come on in. Rock Singh has come on in also from the 49ers, amongst other places. So you do have holdovers in Terrion Arnold, Kalia Dorsey, Amik Robinson, Maurice Norris, and Enos Rakestraw. I personally think the Lions have shifted some of what they want in the backups to hit specific targets or needs. There are so many guys that remind me of Amik Robinson now coming in with Maddox and Yasin. I think they're trying to go that way. They want guys who can get in and out of breaks a little bit faster, stick around in man coverage. I won't be surprised to see one, maybe two of these guys step into the iffy role over time, unless the Lions address it in the draft or maybe undrafted free agency. We'll see what shakes out. But overall, here's what I'd say. I think the Lions have slightly improved in the secondary. You guys can have your own opinions. By all means, share them with me in the Do Crew comments section. All right, moving on to the next of the headlines. Detroit Lions apparently dig Michigan football star Josiah Stewart. Here's why they should. Rainer Saban, the Detroit Free Press on it. Saban goes into a long list of things. If you're a Michigan fan, which I know most of you guys are, you probably would be chomping at the bit for the Lions to get this guy. He is a potential day 2 pick. I think myself, and I, he'll go towards the early to middle part of round 2. Been wrong before, but he is basically 6'1", 6'2". He's a massive individual. Led the Wolverines with 8.5 sacks, generated 37 pressures, tied for the most on the team. He would fit in a multiple of different areas for the team. Could he come in and be a starter as rookie? I think that's asking a bit much. I think he would be able to come in and play a role. I just don't think he's going to be a starter. Been wrong before. You look at a lot of the different tape on him, and I think what Rain's pointing out is that long-term, if you're thinking year 2, 3, and 4, this is probably a good fit for the Lions. Could they acquire him? I do believe you'd probably have to see the Lions trade up in round 2 to get him. But what say you do, crew? Most of you guys know a ton about this guy. Would you be happy if the team went out and get him? Let me know. Just say, I don't know, Stuart, yes, Stuart, no. Whatever you want to put in the comment section, just let me know your thoughts. All right, next headlines now. Foolishness of Lions letting Zadarius Smith go is been proven more and more. Sideline report, Brad Berryman with this one. I believe most Lions fans think there's an opportunity for Zadarius Smith to return to the Detroit Lions. Me, myself, and I include in that list. We get the Lions cut him, it would appear, just because the bonuses and guarantees he was going to get. I think it was going to be somewhere in the $12 to $13 million range if they kept him on the roster. I just don't believe Zadarius Smith is that guy anymore, but could I see him bringing him back at $5 to $7 million? Yeah, I think so on a 1 or 2 year deal. That would make a lot of sense. He would give the Lions another guy who can get after the quarterback. He is a bigger end, so he can set the edge. We all get it. Lions prefer that type of guy over there just to try to make teams one-dimensional. Lions did clear nearly $6 million in cap space by letting him go with no dead money left behind. This was a clear-cut move as to why the Lions did let Zadarius go. I think most Lions fans would also agree he's more or less a coach on the field for the team. So if the day came where the Lions were able to retain his services and he doesn't want to play football anymore, he probably would be an ideal fit to join the coaching staff for the Lions, who are mostly made up of former players. However, as far as why we should bring him back, Rain goes on to talk about it, that the Lions, at the end of the day, you got to be able to do one thing better than what they did last year. We all get it. You got to get after the quarterback. Yes, we may address that during the draft. Yes, Mel Kiper Jr. may talk about this during his mock draft that we're going to put in the main topic of the day. Both things can be true, that you need Zadarius and you need younger talent. But I would be surprised if the Lions don't make some sort of attempt to go get him. They may have already done it to bring him back. Maybe we just don't know it yet. Maybe he's kicking cans, hoping another team offers him a better deal, which would probably be one of, if not his last deals in the NFL. So I don't have any kind of disdain for Zadarius Smith trying to get a better deal. ESPN's Matt Bauer, subscription required if you want to check this out. Recently ranked the best remaining NFL free agents in the entire, not just quarterbacks, tight ends, etc., or defensive ends. Smith came in at number 12 of the 23 players he listed. When he talked about him, and just said, hey, any team that acquires him is going to get a vet who can do a lot of good things, stopping the run, getting after the quarterback, consistently putting pressure on people. The downside to him is he is no longer as fast as he once was, and you probably can't give him more than 70% of the snaps on a week-to-week basis because he will wear down over the course of the season. In the Lions case, though, I do think you could bring Zadarius Smith back and try to keep him to the 40 to 50% of the snaps, mix him in with a rookie or Josh Pascal and other people, and I think you could keep him healthy and at a high level throughout the entire season. What say you do, crew? Smith, why, or Smith, no, in the comment section. Let me know. Do you want Zadarius back in Detroit? All right, last of the 4 headlines now. No, Lions listed as team that should make trade instead of drafting. Detroit Lions on SI by Christian Bohr with this one. This is one that, I'm torn on. I don't personally think the Lions need to trade. If they want to make a trade, I think it would be for later round draft picks. You're going to have everybody talk about, Bryce Huff coming to the Detroit Lions. We covered that last week for you guys. We've had Kayvon Thibodeau coming to the Detroit Lions. And you know what? Christian Bohr does talk about both gentlemen. He talks about a couple other possible trade candidates for the Detroit Lions. I wouldn't be mad with any of them coming over to Detroit, but do you guys really think the Lions are going to go a 2nd or 3rd round pick for those guys? Probably not at all. Would the Lions be able to acquire them for a 6th or 7th? I think that is possible, but my question to you guys is, if you're the Lions, front office, if you're Brad Holmes, do you feel more comfortable picking up one of those 2 guys or somebody else who's similar, or do you trust in your scouting department that round 6, 5, 7, that you can identify a good, young, cheap talent on a contract that's going to be real team friendly to come in and make a bigger short-term and long-term impact for the team? There's no wrong answer here. I want to see what you guys would do. Kayvon Thibodeau, I wouldn't be angry with him, sort of like other guys listed. I'm just not sure if he's a long-term answer in Detroit. Plus, you'd have to re-sign him to a contract fairly soon. I want to say he's got 1 year left on his rookie deal. So do you want to give him a bag of cash on top of now not bring in a rookie contract? I guess I would say no, me, myself, and I. But let's see what you guys have to say on it. All right, let's get done with the 5 headlines now and get over to the main topic of the day. All right, main top of the day, we had Uncle Mel Kiper Jr. Release a new mock draft. And you know what? There's some stuff that you probably like about it. There's some stuff you raise an eyebrow about. But if you're a Detroit Lions fan, you're probably overall okay with it. Let's walk through this entire draft. And I'll, if I don't have it all here, I'm pretty sure I do. All right, first 10 picks here. We got Cam Ward. Probably not a big surprise there if he goes to the Tennessee Titans. Abdul Carter. Hey, man, this guy's a stud. I would not be surprised to see him be number 1. Shedeur Sanders, I think he'd be an ideal fit for the New York Football Giants, but what say you guys? Me, myself, and I do think that's probably the move for the Giants. They need to get a quarterback. They need to get some help in there. Is that where they go? Travis Hunter, the Patriots are probably going to build that defense up quite a bit this year, next year, etc. And you know what? Travis Hunter, man, this guy can do whatever you ask him to do. He is just a raw athlete, incredibly gifted. Not going to spend all day with it. Mason Graham going to the Jags. I think Lions fans would be okay with if we could get him, but I just don't see any way we can get up that far in the draft to get it. Not without giving up way more than we probably all agree that Brad Holmes is going to give up. Ashton Gentry, we're all probably happy about him going there versus Chicago to the Raiders. Tyler Warden going to the Jets. Jalen Walker going to the Panthers. And Jackson Dart, this one I thought was a big surprise. I don't think this guy is a first-round quarterback, but Mel Kiper probably knows more about him than I do. He's got the Saints taking him, and then rounding out the top 10, Mekhi Williams, the linebacker from Georgia, to the Bears. And the Bears, hey, they got a good defense. Some of it is starting to age, so I would understand why they would do this. All right, going on to the next 10 picks. Going on to the next 10 picks, we got the 49ers, going offensive line here. Not a big surprise there. Dallas going running back with Hampton. Will Campbell continuing the Campbell trend in the NFL, going to the Miami Dolphins. The Colts are going with Loveland. Most of you guys probably know him just because he's from Michigan. He's the tight end. Hey, he's a real nice pick there. This is the one I was a little surprised by. Mike Green going 15 to the Falcons. I get he's one of the biggest draft buzzes out there. we all want him here in Detroit, or at least a lot of fans want him here in Detroit. The guy has got some power. He's got some wheels. Well, he's going number 15. I was surprised by that, me, myself, and I. Will Johnson, cornerback from Michigan, is going to the Cards. Shamar Stewart, the defensive end from Texas A&M, is going to the Bengals. We got the Seattle Seahawks taking a safety from North Carolina. I don't know as much about Nick as perhaps some other people. The other Campbell, Jahad Campbell, the linebacker from Alabama, going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That does seem like an ideal fit to me. I would not be surprised to see that go down. McMillan, the wide receiver from Arizona. Hey, this guy can fly, man. He is ginormous. He might be one of the closest things to Calvin Johnson that the NFL has seen. I don't think he is Calvin Johnson. I'm just saying from a physical standpoint, the speed standpoint, the strength, he's got all of it. All right, and now the next one involving the Lions, we'll go through the list here. Derek Harmon going to the defensive tackle from Oregon, going to the Steelers. Wide receiver Matthew Golden going to the Chargers. Another wide receiver, Ohio State, Ukwa going to the Green Bay Packers. You know what? You think the Packers have enough wide receivers? Then again, they don't stay healthy very often. We got the Minnesota Vikings going with Barron, cornerback from Texas. Josh Simmons, offensive tackle, going to the Texans. Hey, cornerback from Florida State, Thomas going to the Rams. Starks, the safety, pretty good safety. I would not be surprised to see him going to somewhere in the teens. Malik Starks going to the Baltimore Ravens. And yes, here we go. James Pierce. We talked about him a week or so ago that I picked him to go to the Lions, but I had us trading up to get him. What say you do, crew? They do seem to have more and more steam going this direction for the Lions, selecting James Pierce Jr. If you go back a year ago, you do have a lot of pundits in the NFL talking about him being a potential top 10 pick. Now, last year, for a multitude of reasons, he kind of slipped down the board. Being a little selfish here, I hope he does fall down this far, because I had us giving up a bit of ammunition to move up in the draft. If you remember my full results last week, I had us trading up to 15 to get him. And let's see if I still have it on here. I guess I do. Yep. So I had us giving up, 4 picks to move on up to number 15 to get him. Is Mel Kiper right that we can get him just by staying pat? Who knows, man? It's the NFL draft. Who really knows all the different factors going in? So many things affect other things. And then you can see the rest of the first round here. Harrison, the cornerback from Kentucky, going to Washington. Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle from Michigan, going to the Bills. Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle, going to Texas. And Walter Nolan, defensive tackle from Ole Miss, going to the Eagles. But what say you, Duke Crew? Now that you've seen what Uncle Mel has put up on the board for the Lions, James Pierce seems to be getting more and more traction for joining the Detroit Lions. And I can see why. You can probably see why. His combine numbers were through the charts, off the top. I mean, it's going to be hard to replicate him. He's not as large as the prototypical Detroit Lions end. So would you have to beef him up? Probably. If he's going to be a full-time end for the team, you're probably going to have to slap 10 to 15, maybe 20 pounds on him, which is achievable, but you're probably not getting that out of him his rookie year. If you could get him in the draft and then probably by September, I don't know, get 5 to 7 worthwhile pounds on him, that's probably a reasonable expectations during that amount of time. Now, Jen may be able to say, hey, you could definitely get more on him, but I'm just saying for health reasons and trying to do it right, that would be my expectation. We also talk about the Lions want to get more athletic on the defensive line, get people after quarterbacks, put consistent pressure on them, whether it's James Pierce or whoever else. I think we all agree the Lions probably are going some way, shape, or form going after the defensive line in the draft, probably earlier versus later. All right, you heard me ramble on. I've shown you what we did on the mock draft 2.0 a week ago. You heard what Mel Kiper Jr. is projecting for the Lions. And yes, without trading, he's got the Lions picking James Pierce Jr. at number 28. Are you happy with that? Are you sad about it? Let me know in the comments section and let me slide over to see what you guys have to say today. All right, scrolling to the top of the screen. Give me 1 second, if you please. He did not have a round 2. My guess is Kiper Jr. will probably have a round 2 version or maybe even a 3-round mock draft as we get closer and closer to the draft. Again, we're about a month away, so give it some time, and you'll have everybody and their mother having 29 round mock drafts, etc. All All right, JDC, morning all, back at you. Moonscar Blade, let's try again. Good morning, Duke Crew, starting lineup, and back at you. Hopefully it was a great weekend for you. Moonscar, working for the weekend? Hey, the work never stops, right? Alrighty, go green, go white, 100%. I watched the first half of the game, and then I went to sleep after that. It was a long day of travel for us yesterday, and yeah, I was ready to hit the hay. Silver, man, I was missing Mel Kiper. Well, hey, you got some Mel Kiper back in your day today. Clark, yo. Good morning, Duke Crew, exclamation point. So who does Uncle Mel say we are getting? James Pierce Jr., athletic freak. I love his RAS scores. I love his dip and rip. I love his power. I love his speed. And to be fair, driving back from the UP yesterday, I listened to him talk in different interviews for, I don't know, probably at least 30 to 40 minutes. And here's what I can say. I think there's some people that have worries or concerns about his work habits. After listening to him yesterday, trying to watch some film, and by no all is that 30 minutes enough to really have a sound opinion, but I would not be upset with the Lions take him. I think he's not quite the player some talk about. Some people say he's, lazy or whatever, doesn't put forth a lot of effort. I'm not so sure if that's correct. Now, for every person who says that, there's also people on staff with his college or, the pro scouting thing that say the complete opposite. I can only tell you my opinion. My opinion thus far after researching him is I'd take him. And if I'm right, I'm right. I think he probably hit a home run. If I'm wrong, you know what? You move on to the next player. Silver, good morning, Coach, and everyone else. Back at you, Silver. Hopefully it's good morning. Big Eddie, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. First, glad you took a day off, Coach. Hey, no worries, man. Much deserved. Second, I believe Holmes has performed a masterclass how to build the team heading into the draft. First, I tried to get the show yesterday, but because of the connection issues I was having up there at our location in the UP just wasn't stable enough. I was like, man, this thing will be all busted up if I run the show. You'll be able to hear every few words, and then it'll go out and then back in. So I was like, let's not even do it. Second, I agree with you on Eddie, on Brad Holmes. The Lions just don't really have any real needs. I mean, we can all say, yes, we need to get after the quarterback better. But if you look at the team, there's depth across the board everywhere. And you still have currently 7 draft picks, 8 draft picks, whatever, to try to address or fill in things. You got about 30 to almost 40 million in cap space. So if you needed to go out or wanted to go out and make a trade or acquire somebody, I think you still could. This team, and I know a lot of you guys want me to change the intros, and I'll do that once we get into training camp, because at that point, we probably got a pretty good idea who's going to be on the team, who's not going to be on the team, and I just don't want to put somebody in now and reach out and see if I can get them to do a promo spot for the show, and then a month later have to just, gut it again. All right, JDC, I miss Dan Kiper Jr. I'm suspecting you will see the Dan-O return again. Dan Kiper. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. Has to be defense, I'm thinking, for the team. Go green. And it was indeed. Yes, Mel Kiper does have us going after some D. Silver Server, agree with Big Eddie. Hey, well, nothing wrong with agreeing. Tori, how was UP, Coach? Question mark. I think we take Mike Green in the first round. So here's the thought. What if oh gosh, what was it? The Falcons take James Pierce. How would you guys feel if instead of getting James Pierce, because the Falcons take him, maybe the Lions take Mike Green? I don't think it'd be a bad situation to get either one of them. I will say Mike Green already is a little bit heavier. I believe he's a little bit shorter, so you would be trading some height for some immediate weight. I don't know, man. I'd be okay. The UP was great, though, going back this summer to do a little bit of research, if you will. And we'll talk about that more maybe another time. All right, Detroit D, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew, back at you. Hopefully it's a phenomenal start to your day. Walt, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. Woo! And back at you, Walt. Good to see you in the chat, man. Big Daz, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. Oh, yeah, exclamation point. Missed the show not being on yesterday. That's the only thing that can keep our man Dan down. Yeah, Wi-Fi connections. Yeah, it's hard to get around that one. Good to see you, Big Daz. Tears, no fears, Lionel. Hey, it's been a minute since I've seen you. Greetings, salutations, Duke Crew from Marquette. Exclamation point. Been dealing with some stuff, but glad to be back. Glad to have you back, man. Got to catch up with everything. Lightning and Thundercats. Ho! And back at you. Yeah, I was up your way just yesterday. Well, waiting for an MRI this morning. All right. Well, hopefully it's a good one for you. Not good results and not bad stuff. 5 figures ready. Do we sign anyone else still in free agency? Question mark. I am ruling out the team trading for anyone. Brad just doesn't appear to be open for that type of business. No, I agree with you. I don't think the Lions are going to make a trade. I do believe they made some calls. I do believe they tried to do some stuff. At the end of the day, though, Brad we all get it, man. He's Dollar General Brad. What do you want to say? He just doesn't like to overspend. When other teams outbid you for a potential trade or the teams want more stuff, I get why he doesn't pull the trigger. Big Daz, did Mel change the oil in that hair yet? Probably not. Yeah, he keeps it. Drake, Dan, Kiper Jr., host of the Nate. Not today, my friend. Not today. Didn't have enough time to set up. Henry Moore, good morning. Coach Dan and Duke Crew. What a team. What a podcast. Thank you for that. What a time. Be a Lions fan. Woo! Good to see you, Henry. As always, quitting. Greetings, salutations. Hey, Coach, when are you doing another mock? We just did one last week, so I don't know, man. I don't like doing them every week just because really how much information changes from week to week. So, Gwen, I would say maybe another week or two we can do a third one, 3.0 or whatever, just because at that point you probably have some more information, speculation. You start getting within a few weeks of the draft. We can all say that we've got a good idea what the Lions are going to do, but there's so many factors that go into it. What happens to the first 10 picks will affect the next 10 picks. If one or two people go out of order, what people weren't forecasting, that changes everything. Think back to when we had the number 6 pick. Everybody has us taking Jalen Carter. Obviously, that didn't happen. And now how much does that change the next 10 or so picks for other teams? We'll see what happens. But I do have fun with it, and hopefully you guys do too. France, I like Kiper, but I don't believe he is correct most of the time regarding what team takes what player. Yeah, you're probably true on that. I think he's got an idea for talent and being able to identify the talent. But like we just kind of illuminated that, so many factors go into who goes where. All right, Pierce, edge. I think you are right. And you know what? That's what you got, too, at least from Mel Kiper. So, small question for the show. Have a group of YouTubers ever considered starting their own network or channel, sort of like Woodyard? I know, maybe a year ago or so, I talked to Micro Mike about that very thing. I thought, man, why not make maybe not a 24-hour channel, but like a 12-hour channel? Hey, you host for 2 hours, someone else hosts for 2 hours and do stuff. I think the problem is just people's work schedule. Most people don't do YouTube for a living, at least that I'm aware of. I think Micro Mike does, but he's about the only one. So that just becomes the part of it is, you start thinking, I can do this because it's before I start working for the day. But then you have other people, who's going to fill in after that? If I go, 7 to 9, who's going to take 9 to 11? It's got to be somebody with a pretty flexible schedule. All right, Pierce, 5 fingers ready. Only signing I see happening is bringing back Zadarius Smith or a depth offensive lineman. Yeah, I think that both of those would be good calls there, Pierce. Susan Scott, good morning. Has to be right, question mark, Pierce? Yeah, I would think it has to be edge, correct. France, I'd be very okay with those moves, Pierce Sargent. I think most Lions fans would be. Pierce, Susan Scott, good morning, exclamation point. Brad did say we didn't draft for needs, which this year has me nervous because we have one glaring need. Yeah, as far as edge, I just think I tell you what, real quick, let's pull back up those draft boards, I guess. So if we look through this, I got to get rid of the count. Well, I'm not going to mess with this too much. All right, if you just look through these real quick, one could argue that I think the Lions are getting one of the most talented players, if not the most talented player on the board at that particular time. If we do go James Pierce, of course, he's got to fall to that spot. So Brad wants best player available. You could argue in that scenario, at least in my opinion, that James Pierce would be the best player available. Although it doesn't matter what I think, it matters what the Lions think. Pierce, France, bringing Davenport back and cutting Z, I still don't fully understand. Yeah, the only thing I can think of, Pierce, is that cutting Z was just for financial reasons. I don't think there's a reason on the field why you would have got rid of him. Voltron, I wonder who Mel has picking up. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on it. I think most Lions fans would be okay with it. JDC, bring Z back to the D. I hope they do. Pierce, it's bad when we are happy if we get half of the season out of Davenport. Hey, man, if you get half the season out of them, you're probably superseding the expectations of the contract he signed. So take it. Pat, please make that happen. JDC, we'll see what you can do, or JDC can do. Moonscar, so long. There is a Huddle Network and the Lions Nation Unite that put up more than one podcast football channel. Yeah. Lions Nation Unite does some stuff. Good group of guys. They all work together. You can always check that out. Hey, the Duke Crew is back 100%. We are back on air. Man Bear, good morning, Dinosaurus Rex and the Dino Duke Crew, and back at you. JDC, Pat Rock, I wish I had that gift. There you go. Johnny L, Good morning. Oh, what happened yesterday? I couldn't find Lions Talk Live. Just couldn't get a good enough stable connection up in Detour Village. That's where I was at yesterday. So we just weren't able to go on air. I was trying that particular night, Saturday, before going to bed. I was like, I just can't get it to work and fit. So I just said, all right, we'll just take a day off, man. Trim Reaper, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Woo! Back at you. Al, happy Monday, Duke Crew. Same to you. Pierce, Skipper, woo! Clipped yet? Not as of yet. David, was yesterday, February 30th. Couldn't find the show. Welcome back, Dan. Hey, glad to be back. And glad to you guys, or hopefully you guys are glad to have it back. Motor City Patriot, good morning, crew. Duke Crew, and back at you. Don Burke, Brad Holmes is setting up the surrounding cast for the team. To put a F them picks type of trade. Pay attention. Don't be surprised to see us move up and signal digits for a player. Don Burke, I know during the last mock draft that we put out, we did that scenario moving up to 15 to get James Pierce. But I think you could be right, man. Could we move up beyond 15 to get somebody? I wouldn't be surprised. And, man, who could that be that the Lions would get? I don't know, but I think you are right that Brad Holmes is eyeing a potential trade up, and I know we've talked about on the channel for about a month now, but I would not be surprised to see Brad pull that trigger, get rid of some picks, and get after it. JDC, Coach, where in the Youp were you? Detour Village. So if you don't know where it is, you go across the bridge, you go about a mile or two miles down the road, you take right, and you keep on going until you get to Lake Huron. As far as you can go. Basically, Drummond Island, if you don't know. Maybe most of you would know that. 70, welcome back, Coach. Glad to be back. Pierce, Don Burr, that would be immaculate. We'll take it. Kurt Steele, the Hitman. What up, Dojo Crew? What's up, man of Steel? Raymond, good morning, Lions fam, and back at you. Pierce, Don Burr, that has a Mason Graham vibes. We'll take that, man. I would take that. Courtney, Detour, my guess, it was Detour indeed. Let's see. Mark, good morning to all. Roar, 100%. Don Burr, Pierce, good morning. I really think he's setting up the core to make a trade for a player or trade up. That's why he's making the selected moves. I would take that. Yeah, and I think you're spot on with that, Don. Rob, say yeah in the UP. All right, I will do that. The non-laughers, good morning. Dan, the Duke Crew, back at you. Jeremiah, what up, Duke Crew? Not too much, man. Getting the show going. How you doing today, my friend? Pierce, Stamber, I could fully see that. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. What up, Duke Crew? All right, just hanging out, enjoying the show. Hopefully you are doing the same. Keith, good morning and greetings, salutations, Dan and the Duke Crew. Exclamation point. How was your trip to the UP? It was good, man. I do like it up there. I have some friends trying to talk us into moving up there. I would say they've run into staunch resistance from Jen, though. Big D, morning, Duke Crew. Mr. Don Burr, I think you hit the nail on the head. I'll take that, too. 100%. Yeah, I think Don's spot on with that. Let's see. B-Dubs, 5150. Good morning, Dan and the Duke Crew. And same to you, my friend. Good that morning going. JDC, Coach, you didn't take the snow back with you? No, there was some snow up there, man. Some colder weather, but it was, for the most part, clear skies. Be heading back to do some research. I want to do some research of over on Drummond Island. So for those who don't know, the last active British fort during the Revolutionary War is on Drummond Island, and most of it is still intact. And over there is a quarry right beside it. It's torn up part of it, but I want to go in there and do some exploring of it and do some research. So be doing that this summer. Let's see, the 302 kid, good morning all. Will not be mad if we pick up a stud offensive lineman with the first pick. Yeah, it could be that way too. I wouldn't be surprised if we went O-line or edge rusher. I just think edge rusher is probably the bigger need, but if you get the right offensive lineman, you really believe that's the best player out there, go after it. All right, Don Burr, Big D, there you go. Pierce, Don Burr, if we get Mason Graham, that's deadly. It would be deadly. JDC, Dre Forge rocks, Andy Rolls. Rob, greetings, salutations, Coach Dooku. The Lions are the grooviest, Daddy-O. Feels like a minute since I've heard you say that, my friend. Don Burr, I like Mason a lot. Strength stud, yes, he is a stud. And you slap him on that defensive line for the next 5 years at least, whew, that's not too bad. Maybe in round 2 you could pick up somebody else to take over the edge. Let's see, JK, iffy, a busted finger, yeah. It happens, man. 9 drinks, good morning, Dooku. Back at you, my friend. Good to see you as always. Johnny L, has anyone else heard of the kid out of Ole Miss? JJ Patsy, defensive tackle. I hacked his name, but he's a defensive tackle around 300 pounds and 6'3". I've heard about him. I don't know enough about him to give you a lot of good commentary. JDC, Magic 8 Ball says, shoveling snow is in my future. Could be true. Lions for life. After a record-breaking IR last year, Should the training department upgrade? I'm sure they're going to look into upgrading or ways to improve it. It's just off the top of my noggin, you guys may have more information than I do. It does seem like at least half of the injuries were from friendly fire, just group tackling on defense. Man, you think about even, was it like the third play of the playoff game where Amik Robinson got hit by, what was it, Jack Campbell? I think that's right. And just, shattered the forearm. It happens. Jeremiah, how feasible is resigning Zadarius Smith on a new contract? I think so. I think it is pretty likely. Now, with that being said, if I'm Zadarius or his representation, I'm out there kicking the tires for other teams and just saying, hey, what can we do to get a better offer than what we're getting here? And if somebody makes the better offer, he's probably taking it. And I don't have any anger for him if he does. It is a profession for him, and he's probably on his last contract. Maybe he gets one more if it's a one-year deal. So, hey, take it and bank it. Silver Server, do we actually make poor Willing Vildor a villain in Detroit? No wonder we kept on losing. I do think a lot of fans just didn't get over the dropped interception off the face mask, but you heard Josh Reynolds talk about it. The Lions wanted him to return, but he was getting such disdain for the dropped fourth down pass in the NFC Championship game 2 seasons ago that was part of his reasoning for going to Denver. Good Steele, I give my take on the Lions cornerback room on our show today. Check it out. We will all check it on out. Brian, good morning. Dan, the Duke Crew, go green, go blue. Sweet 16, baby, 100%. Some real good games yesterday, man. Real good games. Jeremiah, love the Lions called on. Have the Lions called on Trey Hendrickson? I can say yes, but you probably also know it does sound like the Bengals want such a high return from him, and from a trade standpoint. A number of NFL teams that have acquired about him are just saying no. The rumor is that they want a first-round pick, and no other team is willing to give a first-round pick to acquire him. And I get that. Trey's, 31, 32. He's going to want a big bag of cash. That doesn't sound like a good trade to me. But I like the player 100%. JDC, Johnny L., that's one big boy. He is indeed. Angie, I'm hoping we resign Smith. Me too. And good to see you. I feel like it's been a minute. Non-laughers, do we still have Lawrence Strickland? I like him for the iffy role. Yes, I like him a lot. I liked him. I like Brandon Joseph. Unfortunately, Joseph kind of wrote his own check out of town. I wouldn't be surprised, or at least I would hope a team picks him up. If they haven't, I don't really know. But Lawrence Strickland, to me, he reminds me a ton of Brian Branch. And if you guys want, go check out some film on him. There's not a lot of Lions film other than preseason, but I really like the kid, and another year of experience. Maybe he can really step on in. Brad is going to do a Inside the Den mock. The podcasters who question his brilliance. Draft day will be fun after we get a stud defensive end or two. Yeah, I'll go with that 100%, Donnie. Rod Rich, one thing I don't get is if he wasn't re-signed due to not being available, do they bring back Davenport? Makes 0 sense. Yeah, I don't know the full details, Rod, of Iffy's contract, but if you look at Davenport's contract, there's not a whole lot on the hook for the team. If they decide to cut him, they're not really going to encounter dead money. So most of Davenport's deal is if you stay healthy and you stay on the field, you get paid. If you can't, we don't got to give you anything. Johnny L, JDC, have you heard of this guy? We'll find out. Rob, it's too early for thoughts. Hey, no worries, man. I got some thoughts for you. What up, doing? Man of Steel, says Rob. JDC, Johnny L, nope. JK, 1 or 2 year for Daisy. Okay. Keith Stewart, yes, exclamation point. I think he will be a starter. Man, if you get Stewart, if the Lions can pull it off, I think just about everybody in the chat would be happy with it. I like the kid, especially if you get beyond year 1 or 2 with him, where he really has an opportunity to kind of grow into the NFL. David, Lions cut Zadarius because he struggled against the run. Yeah, he wasn't great. If you guys remember the playoff game, I want to say, and don't hold me to this, he graded out at like a 24, 29, something like that. I mean, you barely show up and get that grade on the field. JK, James Houston, a crap bust also. It is, but he took him in like the 6th round. Man, that rookie year was something of legends. And then he busted his leg and his ankle, and just for whatever reason, just hasn't returned to form. Keith brings Zadarius Smith back. I hope so. Smith says Smith. Why says Cordy? JK Z opposite of Hutch. I want to see. Me too. Brian. Yes. Smith. JDC Z Factor. Yes. Henry Moore. Yes on Zaman. Pierce. Big yes on Zadarius. I think just about everybody feels the same way. Johnny L. Yes with a thumbs up. Moonscar. Smith. Why for the right price? I'll go with that. Mark, Hex, yes, hope the Lions can bring back Zadarius Smith. Me too, man. I hope so too. 9 drinks. Why on Zadarius? So yes on Zadarius. The kid, I think Zadarius would come back on a cheaper 1-year deal. Hope we resign him. Me too, man. I like everything about him. Other than, I probably do agree with Brad. You don't want to pay him 12 to whatever it was, $14 million for the year. Lions for life. If Hutch can play at 100%, he will open up plays for the defense line. It's amazing how one person can change the team. Yeah, 100%. That D line, you think about what can be next year, and I do think Aiden Hutchinson will be 100% by September. Maybe they'll ease him into things during August and July, but I do think by September, if he's not 100%, he's going to be like 98, 99%, something like that. Big D, yes for Z. Detroit Lions bad guy. The bigger question is, can you find someone in the draft who's better than Zadarius Smith with a second pick in the edge in the draft, edge rusher? That I don't know. It comes down to your grades. It does sound like the one thing they did not enjoy about Zadarius was the run defense, and just maybe it just worn down by the end of the year. But that's why I was saying earlier, bad guy. If you're going to bring him back, I think you got to keep him at like a 50 to 60% snap count throughout the regular season, just to keep him healthier longer or in more energy. Motown Mitch, why Smith? If super cheap, $4 million or so, I'll take that. Number Smith not being picked up by anyone yet leaves me with questions. Yeah, and it could be he's just holding out longer and longer. Who knows, man? Quinto, Thibodeau, no. I go with you on that. Silver, Hooker for Thibodeau. Why not? You could do it. You could do that. Yeah, straight up. AJ, I think we see a veteran edge added after the draft, probably after camp starts. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that, AJ. I doubt Holmes is going to give up draft capital this late, and most veteran players don't mind a few extra weeks off. No, I think you're spot on with that. If you can preserve the body a little bit longer, you do see players who are veterans wait until the first quarter of the season has gone by to sign with a contender, etc., or right before the trade deadline. Bad guy, Don Burr, isn't that what the Lions have? Questionable players that they think can make better? Yeah, try to make them better. Don Burr, Jeffrey is overrated big time. Exclamation point. Played in the Mountain West. Put him on the SEC. He's an average back. I'll take that. Don Burr, Detroit Lions bad guy. No, Brad likes injured players. You are not wrong with that. He is an ambulance chaser. Motown Mitch, SEC is a thing of the past. Put him in the Big Ten, and now he's a below average back. All right, I'll go with that. JK, if he had rabies, maybe true. Bad guy, maybe that's why no one's picked him up. Don and Brad's just waiting to find out. Yeah, could be. Big D, Don Burr, I disagree about Ashton. He's a freak no matter where he plays. All right, we'll go with that. SEC is still the best division, no matter how many teams the Big Ten 25 add. That could be true. Bad guy, my thought is Zadarius Smith wants to come back, so he's not signing anywhere. Yeah, it could be that. Maybe they've already worked something out, and he's just taking time off, going vacationing or whatever, sitting on the beach and singing Kumbaya. Yeah, it could be true, man. JK, due to eating squirrels. All right, could be. Who doesn't like a good roasted squirrel? Motown Mitch, how long has it been since the SEC has won it all? Then I don't know off the top of my noggin. Kevin, I'm completely out on Pierce Jr., undersized, and he misses too many tackles. He doesn't fit the prototype of Brad Holmes' first-round selection. I take Kenny G over him all day, every day. Yeah, I do agree. He would have to beef up a little bit, and yes, you would have to clean up some of his mechanics when it comes to getting to the guys on the ground. Amy, good morning, Dan and Duke Crew. Z, yes, I think he would be awesome for us. I don't blame the team saving the cap space, but think he will help out the team and could be a great addition. Let's see if we can bring him on back. And good morning to you, Amy. Old Town Mitch, it was always Bama and then everyone else. Then Bama lost Saban, and now it's SEC is on the downward slide. Living in SEC territory, even SEC fans have come to that conclusion. Fair enough. All right, I'll go with that. Brett, James Pierce will never be a Lion. He is a turd sandwich. He is fast with zero bend. He will be a bust guaranteed. Fair enough, Brent. I'll take that. Kevin, or Scorson or Landon Jackson. Okay. Vilder was awful, not even mid. All right, JK. Brent, Vilder was not awful. Moron, watch the tape. All right. Don Burt, Big S, we agreed to disagree on Germany versus Alabama, Texas, Michigan, Ohio State defense would be very normal back. All right. Yeah, it's okay to have different opinions. Silver Surfer Pierce is a little dude, and not even Javon Curse used that Titan with McNair. Okay. Don Burr, James Pierce Jr. equals big no. JDC, my brain on the draft. All right. We'll go with that. It could explode. JK, Moron can't even spell his name right. It happens, man. It happens. Brent Pierce will his way out of the NFL, does not have a football character necessary for success. To succeed, excuse me. Motown Mitch, be honest, number just was trying to have your back on the entry thing, not spend 1 second checking him out. Don't even have opinion. Either he played in a bad conference or not telling what. All right, Motown Mitch, he really is. Aaron, James Pierce, big yes. Lions need to get more athletic and more speed on defense. That could be where they go. We'll see if Mel Kiper Jr. is correct. Brent, Dan, you have gone full retard here. Pierce is the S. I can't even say it right now. As Lion means opposite. Yeah, I know, man. Hey, it's okay to have different opinions, man. I like the guy though. That's just me. Keegan, I wouldn't be mad about James Pierce Jr. Just get us some pass rush, please. What could be? J.K. Funny. Don Burr. Motown. Yes, I think he is a decent back, sure, but top 10. Heck no, he'll be no Gibbs. Yeah, Gibbs is rare, and I think we all agree on that. Brent, as Brass Holmes and Dan Campbell hate players like Pierce, he is 100%. All right, we'll find out. J.K. Why is Vilder gone? Then I'll wait. All right, Vilder, I think he just was ready to move on. I mean, I don't know if the team tried to bring him back. What we can say is he's no longer here, and the team went in another direction. JDC, Puff. Woo! Coffee and Lions Talk Live. Great start to your morning. Motown Mitch, I agree with Coach Dan, depth, Eber. All right, we'll go with that. Yeah, let's get some depth. Don Burr, James Pierce, fast with no direction or destination, no moves, horrible character. Big no. All right, Donnie Burr, we'll take him off the list. The Don Burr has spoken. Motown Mitch, everywhere but cornerback depth is still trash and not on the D-line depth level. All right. Rob, make sure you keep Skipper on the intro or the refs will throw a flag. I like the way you're thinking there, Rob. Server Coach, already told you I am afraid Bears get Ashton Gentry, but not even if he's gone. They might get Omarion Hampton. That might be even more scary. Yeah, they're going to get somebody, and they've got some picks, so they're going to get some talent. They're going to do some stuff now. Can they coach them up? We will see. Brent, exactly, Don. Pierce is human trash. Detroit Lions bad guy. Look at what we did last year with what we had. We had 15-2 with backups throughout the season. We're going to be just fine after the draft. I think you're probably right, bad guy. Pierce, Rob Kendall, the only thing Skipper reported for was this intro. Yes, and he did a great job with it, and I'm thankful for he did the bit. Server, if it had to be edge, then give Detroit Lions, Devonian. I'll move on. Rob Pierce, laughing out loud. JDC. Rob, I agree. Keep the Skipper. Woo! Probably will keep the Skipper. Will. Brent, anyone wants Pierce must hate the way Brad has built the team. Brad would pass him in the third round. Could be true. Michael, welcome back, Coach Dan. Hope you enjoyed your well-deserved day off. It was a good day. It's in the car, just coming on back. Motown Mitch, no one should be worried about what the Bears as long as the polls is there and Buston Williams is their quarterback. Could be true. Yeah, I don't know if Caleb will ever. Who knows, man? He had some moments last year. Is it going to be enough to take him to the top? We'll have to wait until next season to find out. Brent, rumors are Pierce will drop the late third due to awful character. Could be. Hey, Mark, Coach, what was that? You driving your Tesla yesterday? I passed twice. Could be true. Although we were doing 90 most of the way, so if you passed us, Henry, you were doing a pretty good job. The 302 kid, Sparty boy, there you go. JK Brad doesn't believe in big names. It makes sense though. Yeah, could be true. Aaron, Brent, do y'all even watch college football? Not just Michigan either. We'll find out. Let's see. Muddy Edits. Funny how all the fans who were saying Super Bowl or bust last year still have hope for this year. Huh? You got to always have hope. You got to believe in the team. Phil, good morning. Back at you, Phil. Hopefully it was a good start to your day. Keith, still want Mike Green the first round. How was your trip? Trip was good, man. Just not enough time there. When we drove up Saturday, had to come back Sunday for some work stuff. So we got to hang out for my buddy's 50th birthday, and that was the most important part. Motown Mitch, why is that funny, Muddy Edits? I really think Lions will have a whole starting team on the IR this year too. No, I think you're right, Motown. I think the team's – I've said it before on the show. You guys have heard it. I think this is going to be the deepest Lions team any of us has reasonably seen. I think this team is going to be loaded with talent. Brett and Robinson, do you even listen to players, coaches who rip on other players? Tennessee coaches hated Pierce and are throwing a party celebrating his departure. Could be true, yeah. And I get that, Brent. I've heard people say that. I've heard people say the opposite. I mean, like I said, man, I'm in the car ride. I listened to him for a little bit. I liked what I heard, but again, I do want to preface, I only listened to him for about a half hour. That's really not enough time, but it is what it is. B-Dubs, what do you got? How about Kenneth Grant? I would not be sad if we got him. I think most of us would be pretty happy if we got him. Brent, yeah, I am Michigan alumni, but I also watch a lot of college football. There you go. One Pride, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew, exclamation point. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Kiper sending the Lions Pierce would be solid. Add a beast opposite Hutch, but I still think you got to move up for him. Could be true. And I know in my mock, I had us going up to 15 to get him. Could you go in a different direction? Absolutely, man. Could you go after Mike Green or somebody else? I know people said, well, Mike Green was accused of doing some stuff. Those accusations, from what I could see, have now been removed and proven as false. That's why I try to tell people, just because somebody accuses you of something doesn't make you guilty of something. And unfortunately, we do live in a world where people sometimes make false accusations. I haven't followed it enough to know if all that is accurate. But could the Lions go after Mike Green, Timbuktu, Joe Blue? It could be. I'm just going to trust whatever Brand Holmes decides to do. That's probably the right move. I know Don Burr was in the chat earlier saying he thinks the Lions are going to move into the around number 10 to make a selection. I could totally see that happening. And if the Lions really feel like that's the right player, then by all means, go do it. Aaron, Brent, let's see. I don't listen to nobody. I watch film and the actual games. All right. Brett Pierce is a jerk. You can't ignore that. Fair enough. Brett and Pierce has some awful tape. All right. Jake K, if you don't like Pierce, it's okay. Just don't cry about it. Yeah. I mean, I can remember. I'm not going to bring up everybody. I can remember a lot of people not liking this guy in the last year's draft or the draft before, and it happens. You're not going to like everybody. Motown, really one pride that's considering Pierce the defense take Barnes' spot, or are you still looking for another defensive end? You believe that's a big need? Yeah, I think it could be possibly go for more than one. Brent, Pierce says no pass rush plans or moves, no bend, no speed. Fair enough. Brent, okay, we get the point, Brent. You've gotten on that. Chicken Nuggets, good morning, one pride. Back at you, my friend. Good to see you as always. 9 Drinks, if you find any good fish spots in the UP, we did not go fishing. Didn't have enough time, 9 Drinks. Thomas, we will not pick a 28, but when we do pick, it will be defensive end, defensive line, or guard. Yeah, I think you're right. Hubert Lake in the UP is a peaceful and has a giant fish. I'll check it out. Frank the Tank, best player available in Brand Holmes and Nate Campbell's eyes. You need to be a certain player to play in the Detroit Lions, not your eyes. Woo, go Lions. Yeah, I agree. You got to fit the right mold for the Lions. JK, I went camping once in the UP. Hey, hope you had a good time. Michael, maybe trade up to number 9 for the Saints. Now, couldn't that be something if they do that? JDC, Frank the Tank, I agree. JK, one time. Thomas, smash the like, y'all, if you would, please. Phil, 3 inches of snow here. Enjoy the snow, my friend. Pierce, let's see, Don Bird Pierce, how do you like Derek Harmon? I would like him. He's not bad. Why for Z-Man? Yeah, me too, man. Me too. 2 bones. Chicken Nuggets, I don't mind whatever Brad drafts because we know he sees talent and thinks positionless in the game of football. Yeah, I think you're 100% correct with that. Phil, Drummond Ion, great place to search for stones, green and pudding stones. Yeah. Gosh, forget the name of the stones all around there. JK, friendly fire killed the defense. I agree. Aaron, the Lions need to look at either Mike Green or James Pierce Jr. I think they'll look at him for sure. Chicken Nuggets, Vildor wouldn't be a villain of that game personally. Yeah, 100%. Brent, the best anyone, 10,000 at 100 to 1 odds. If we don't take Pierce and we get past him, if available, $1,000 wins $100,000. Hey, take that bet then. Don Burnt, Mike Green, decent, nothing special. Just a name fans heard a lot from small schools, so they are intrigued. Most haven't seen one game of Greens. I agree with that 100%, Don Burnt. Pierce, head case, speed, that's all. Okay. Keith, sounds like all you did was drive 2 days. Correct. Sorry. I asked you twice how was your trip was. Go Lions. Yeah, it was a good time, man. Good time for a friend's 50th birthday. Silver, Lions of their own players draft board. Does not matter if Pierce is there at 28. It depends on where he is on the list. All that points, they might trade down a few spots. Let somebody else pick him. Yeah, could be possible. Motown, I still say biggest issue is secondary, not D-line. 15-2 with a banged-up D-line. Was not until cornerbacks start dropping did the Lions fall apart. That tells you the cornerback depth is not there. All right, Phil, the story of the Cedarville wreck is fascinating. It is indeed. J.K. Davenport, when went to Westman, was hurt. He was great. This is true. He did pretty well until he was hurt. Brent, Lawrence Strickland is a train. If you aren't on his tracks, you won't see you. I like him, but compare him to Brian Branch's crackhead talk. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Go with your own opinions. Let's see. Southwest. Trey can stay in Cincinnati. Nobody wants to give up that draft capital for an old player. Don't care how good he is. Yeah, I think you're right on that. I don't think they're giving up that much stuff for him. JK, how can you not understand? Wasn't. All right. JDC. Brent, let's see. That's out of my league. Anyone, anything for $1? Yeah, maybe for $1. Chicken Nuggets, money talks, players listen. It's about making the best offer. Bring on the best player. There you go. Aaron, Donborough, I watch all these prospects games. I just don't watch Michigan games. All right. Brent, JDC, I will take free money from anyone. Brad wouldn't take Pierce as an undrafted free agent. All right. I also know insiders who have told me Pierce is not the Lions draft board, so I am confident. Fair enough. Let's see. Don, definitely take Green over Pierce any day, but if it's between those two, I'd take back. All right. Best player available. There you go. Thomas, Hutch, we better get a DN because no matter what anybody thinks, that type of break, there are no guarantees that he will ever be 100% again. No, there's never a guarantee, but he's been cleared, so I like that. Mr. Ed, good morning. Dan, the Duke Crew, back at you. Chicken Nuggets, injuries defeated us in many ways. Looking forward to seeing a healthy and fun to watch ball club this season. We have a greater expectations. The boys can live up to it as well. I like the way you're thinking. Phil, Brad finds free agent vets during the season. Could be true. JK, if Zeke comes back, it won't be more than $7 million. Yeah, probably true. Probably true. Don Burt, Hutch at 80% is better than most NFL defensive ends at 100%. You are not wrong there, sir. Sir, Lions might already have arranged a deal with Zaboom. Yeah, I think they probably have had some conversations. I have no doubt about it. Thomas, Don, is that true that Brad better make a move? Let's see if he does. Mr. Ed, I understand the 53-man roster is close to being full, but how many players will be on training camp? So Brad can sign how many more? You can have 90 and then cut down from there. Keegan, Jenry got shut down by Penn State. He stands no chance of playing in the Big Ten. He has been below average. Fair enough. Brent, when Aleem went down, the D-line finally crashed, and it took its toll on the DBs. Yeah, I think you're right with that, Brent, 100%. Chicken Nuggets, Landon Jackson has a grit and good character about himself. I think you're right there. Don Thomas, no worries. 4 years of him making the team is a contender. There you go. Laughing out loud. JDC, excuse me. Silver Server, I'm leaning that way too. It's done. We're wheeling and dealing now to get it done. We'll find out. Thomas, don't worry. We will see. We don't know. Hardy, yes, you can get someone equal or better than Za'Darius in the first round of the draft. There you go. Thomas, Don, Thomas, question. What have you seen so far in Brad in 4 years? We'll find out. Thomas, it's a must. Martin shows big improvement by the preseason game or bye-bye. Yeah, there's probably real truth to that, Thomas. Phil, research for your next book, correct? Nah, just for fun. I enjoy that kind of stuff, going out there and scouting. I've thought about doing another YouTube show called Exploring Michigan, going through like deserted towns and villages, going through like the Fort and Drummond Island, just jazz like that. Just stuff I have fun with. Brent, Espn'S doesn't look good against Penn State. He had a fumble 8 times in the last 2 years. I kind of want the Bears to draft him. Might be true. Thomas, DB, I'm a show me guy until I see Hutch consistently drop the hammer. I'm concerned. There you go, Earl. Good morning. Back at you, Earl. Don, okay, got it. I understand. Aaron, Atlanta or Washington or Philly going to draft James Pierce Jr. Could be true. Don, Aaron, they can have him. Southwest, nobody cares what a college kid did or who's in the draft. They all make mistakes. If that's the case, when it draft being a draft, he's a good grab. Get him. Yeah, I'm down with you there. Kevin, can't see a scenario where the Lions trade up to the upper third of the draft. The Pierce is way too high. The price is way too high. Excuse me. It could be. I don't know. It just really comes down to what that team wants. You remember when we went from 30 to 12, we didn't really have to give up a ton. So maybe that situation unfolds again. We'll have to wait and see on draft day there, Kevin. See, JDC, happy trails, go Lions victory. Back at you, Kevin. On the other hand, trade back, we could land 4 picks in the top 100, which is a Brad Holmes-ish. Yeah, could be true. Donnie Brasco, love that movie. So that's definitely not true. If you think a college kid past doesn't matter, you're not paying attention. I think it all comes down to the individual and situationally. I mean, hey, man, I can only speak for myself. I know when I was in college, there's probably things I did then that there's no way I would do now. But, I mean, to each their own. Nine Drinks, I was asking about restaurants with good fish. Oh, my bad. That I don't know up that way. There are quite a few. I know Uperman is a destination for a lot of Lions fans. I also know it's being sold and apparently becoming like a half Green Bay, half Detroit Lions restaurant. David, if the Lions vent Pierce and they are good with him, then I'm okay with it. I think the culture is good enough at this point to bring him along. Yeah, I'll go with that. David. Something to you guys in the chat going back and forth over a below average corner who's no longer on the team. It could be true. David, the big alarm in the rumors that he's uncoachable, which is true. They will pass on, sure. Yeah, if they believe that to be true, I think you're 100% right, David. Then that's probably, yeah, he's off the draft board. But I can only say my own looking into it. You guys can have different opinions. For every person I said that was true, that he's not coachable, I found other people saying that wasn't accurate. So I didn't coach him. I don't know. I'm just saying it's divisive. All right, Chris Steele, James Pierce is a 3-4 linebacker, not a 4-3 defensive end. I think you're right there. You would have to beef him up. Aaron, Devanian Ukara is my favorite edge and sleeper out of all these edge prospects in the draft. I'll go with that. Nine Drinks, I thought Jen would love all the healthy fish and smoked fish up there. It's freshwater fish and greatest in the States. Yeah, we weren't there very long, mostly focused on the buddy's birthday. Keith, just get your team healthy. We'll be like adding a player or two. Go Lions, Super Bowl bound. Woo! I'll go with that. Pierce is Reuben Foster 2.0 head case and will crash out of the league in a couple years. Maybe true. Mr. Ed, happy trails. We'll see you next time. Brian, let's go Lions. Best show in the universe. Woo! Back at you, Brian, and thank you for saying that. Southwest, pay attention to whatever I said. The truth will give a bejesus about a college kid's pass. If he gets that quarterback, go get him. I'm down with that. Brent, Pierce and Foster might as well. Personality twins. Look what happened to Reuben Foster. Yeah, I don't even remember the guy. David, I think we would rather pick, laughing out loud, if just a situation pass rusher there, they can get players like that. I'm down with that. Pick offensive lineman. They might, David. They might. Gary, have a good day, Dan. Back at you, Gary. Kurt Steele, see you guys, the Boss Up Ball Up podcast. We'll see you then. Brent Pierce is not a good pass rusher. He's just fast. He has zero skills and is uncoachable. We'll find out. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and get out of here. If there is breaking news later today, I'll get over to you as soon as possible. Before you check on out, if you could do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Enjoy your day. Do something kind for someone you don't know. And we'll see you guys all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody. You're still here? What are you doing here? It's over. The show's over. Go home.